Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to work on some of the most important scales that you're going to be using probably for the rest of your life. Now, most people know, and if you didn't already, there is 7 modal scales. Now, the word modal, you could also kind of use mood instead of mode. So when we're talking about modal scales, you're talking about scales from ancient parts of Europe and all around the world that kind of represent tones of those ancient places. And when you apply them over rock and metal, country, any kind of style, you can solo very easily by just knowing what key you're in. So today we're going to be playing out of A minor. Out of the 7 of the scales, the very last 3 are of minor. So those are going to be Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. Now, if you play all 3 of those together, you're going to have one large master scale that will basically cover from about the 3rd fret out of A minor to about the 12th fret. So it's a big chunk, of the whole entire fretboard. So I mean, should you learn all 7 of the modal scales? Yes, absolutely. Should you learn all 5 of the pentatonic scales? Yes, you should. Now, when you first start soloing, the big thing is applying all of these scales, And most times I'll tell you, as somebody who's toured in bands for over 20 years, if it's rock or metal, you're going to be playing out of minor. Most songs are in minor. Major is more of a happy type tone, and you're really going to be using major scales for more like country music. See what I'm saying? So today we'll learn the Aeolian minor scale out of A minor, so 5th fret, right, on your top string. We're going to learn Mixolydian off of the 3rd fret out of G, right? And then we're going to be playing the Locrian scale out of B off the 7th fret. Now, when we put all 3 of these scales together, eventually you're going to have one big large scale that you can very comfortably move across. And like I said, it takes up a section of the guitar about the 3rd fret to the 12th fret. So, I mean, if you learn all 7 and you can solo with all 7, then you can solo out of any key over the whole entire fretboard, right? This is just focusing on 3 of them that are the ones that are going to use the most. It's important to learn all of these scales, but if you're only going to use a major scale once in the next 10 years, then let's just go ahead and focus on these 3 minor scales. See what I'm saying? These are the more used scales, and really you can get by with just these 3 for a lot of stuff. Now, we're going to go ahead and start with A minor because that's what key we're in, right? And that's off the 5th fret on the E string. And then we're going to go ahead and go backwards, and we're going to learn Mixolydian out of G, Locrian out of B. And then we'll also be able to apply our pentatonic blues scales with this as well. Let's go ahead and get started. 5, 7, 8 on the top string. And honestly, you'll get used to either using your ring and your pinky finger or your middle finger. I kind of play differently whether I'm super high up on the neck or lower on the neck. Since I'm lower on the neck, I'm not going to worry as much about which fingers I use, just about memorizing the scale itself, right? So we're going to do 5, 7, 8. 5, 7, 8 on the next string down, the A string. 5, 7, 9. 5, 7, 9. 6, 8, 10. 7, 8, 10. All right, so backwards, let's go ahead and play that backwards. 10, 8, 7, 10, 8, 6, 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. All right, let's go and do it again. So 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 6, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 10, 8, 7, 10, 8, 6, 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. And anytime you practice these scales, go ahead and practice picking each note twice. And then 4 times, so. And this just gives you a little workout for your right hand. let's go ahead and learn Mixolydian out of G. Now, the important thing to remember about all of these scales, and here's the amazing thing about them that everyone should learn. It really seems like it's a lot to memorize. You're like, wow, I have to learn all those notes all over a whole entire guitar neck, or just about. But the reality is there's repeating patterns, as you saw in the last scale, 5-7-8, 5-7-8, 5-7-9, 5-7-9, and then 6-8-10, 7-8-10. There's always going to be repeating lines, so it makes it a little bit easier to remember. The front half, or the half of the scale pointing towards the body of one scale, will be the back half of the next scale. So they intersect and share the same notes, right? So when we're doing this scale, Mixolydian, we're going to be playing the 3rd fret, the 5th fret, and the 7th fret. Right? Repeat that on the next string. Repeat that on the next string. Right? So not too bad. Right? So we had 3, 5, 7 on the top 3 strings. That's pretty easy to remember. But if you look at that, go ahead and take a look. It also shares the notes out of the Aeolian minor scale that we just learned. So each scale shares the notes of the next scale up. So since they fit together like a puzzle, it's easy to see if you missed a note or were on the wrong fret, because the scale right before it has the matching pieces. All right, so let's go ahead and do that one more time. 3, 5, 7 on the top 3 strings. So 3, 5, 7. Once again, practice picking up and down. So that's a 4. Right? And then we're going to go 4, 5, 7, 5, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8. All right, so let's go ahead and start it from the top again. 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, 7. 4, 5, 7. Right? 5, 6, 8. 5, 7, 8. 8, 7, 5. 8, 6, 5. We got the 7, the 5, and the 4. And then the top 3, super easy to remember because of the same thing. So let's go ahead and play those 2 scales in succession. So 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 5, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8. All right, now we're going to play the one we learned previous, A minor, Aeolian, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 6, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10. And if you see, they go perfectly together. 10, 8, 7, 10, 8, 6, 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. All right. So as you already see, we were on the 10th fret and then on the 3rd fret. So that's quite a big chunk of the fretboard. So next we're going to learn B Locrian. And the reason why we're learning in sets of 3 is because that's about how much room I've noticed over the years when you're writing a guitar solo that you need to be able to solo well and not be missing anything. See what I'm saying? So you could solo all over the place constantly in this, and it'll sound pretty good just about everywhere. And like I said, you can also connect your A minor pentatonic, 5-8, 5-7, 5-7, 5-8, over the top of the A minor scale. So all right, so the 3rd scale, Locrian, we're going to be doing 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10. See, like I said, there's lots of repeating in this, so it makes it a little easier to remember. So we got 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10 on the next 2. 7, 9, 10. Then we're going to go 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. All right, let's go ahead and do it again. So that's going to be 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. All right, now let's go ahead and work on all three in a row. Like I said, lots of memorization at first, but once you get these down, especially if you know how to play just a little bit of lead or melody lines, you can really use these three to create just about anything. Let's go ahead and do it. So 3, 5, 7. This is Mixolydian, right? 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 5, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8. We're going to play out of A minor, Aeolian, 5, 7, 8. 5, 7, 9, 6, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10. 10, 8, 7, 10, 8, 6, 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5. Now the third scale, B Locrian. We're going to go 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. All right. Now, when you put them all together, you really get a good chunk, like I said, of the whole entire neck. And you can start to combine pentatonic blues scales. So we're going to go 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5. So, pretty simple stuff. And that's adapting and adding a little bit of the Aeolian into it. So eventually what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be able to play the Locrian scale up high. And once you put it all together, you can play all three in a row. It's just like we were doing a guitar solo, and kind of soloing around in this. We are going to make a master scale out of these three. So go ahead and watch this video a couple times. Make sure you know the G Mixolydian, the A minor Aeolian, and the B Locrian scale before you try soloing with them. But when you do try soloing with them, I think you're really going to like this kind of master scale, which is mixed of the three. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with G, go 3, 5, 7. The three in a row that were 3, 5, 7, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to move up to 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 6, 8, 10. And then we're going to move up to Locrian, so 7, 9, 10, 8, 10, 12. So it ends up becoming 3, 5, 7. Now, when you put all three of those together, that makes you a really good template for being able to solo around. And like I said, we started on the 3rd fret and we ended around the 12th fret. Let's go and do it one more time. So we got 3, 5, 7 on the top three. 5, 7, 8 starting on the A string. 5, 7, 9. So basically we're playing the top of the G Mixolydian. We're playing along kind of in the middle range of the Aeolian, and then moving up high with the Locrian. Now that kind of mimics, like I said, what you do with soloing. Most people start soloing up high. I kind of moved down, and as you saw, I was doing that. Like I said, you can move anywhere you want. These scales don't really have any rules per se. Like I said, play anywhere you want, but typically you're going to be shredding up on the high strings and moving that around. Now, after you learn these three in a row today, what I would like you to do is really practice them, get to know the pattern of it, right? That way you can transpose these scales anywhere you want. So technically right now, like I said, we're in A minor. Right? Most people play in drop tuning, especially if you're playing metal or rock. And that means you're probably going to be playing off of the 10th fret, which would be for drop tunings, or off the 12th fret if you're in more of a standard tuning. See, there's an E. So there's your minor pentatonic. Here's your Aeolian. Mixolydian right before it. And Locrian off the 14th fret. So, like I said, try and really learn the patterns of it. Doesn't really matter where you play it because you're going to be playing in a lot of different keys, right? Could be any key. Now, if you're in like dropped A tuning, G tuning, F, you're playing metal, then you're basically just going to be playing off the 10th fret. But I promise you, these three, if you use them and if you learn them well, you will be able to shred with them. And if you learn them in this grouping particularly, that's really going to help you out. Because like I said, almost all metal and rock is in minor. Okay? And you just learn the minor scale, the scale that goes before it, Mixolydian, and the scale that goes after it, Locrian. So 3 scales out of 7 of the modal scales that give you different moods, right? So modal scales have different sounds that give you different moods tonally. So, like I said, try and learn those, try and get them memorized, that way you can transpose them. But currently, if you play them just like you learned them today off of this video, you'll be playing out of A minor. All right, guys, keep on jamming, keep on shredding. Have a good one.
Jesse, sing.